Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and this program's about the exploration of our consciousness and how that is evolving and who we are as these evolving human beings. Part of that goes back to an understanding of ancient traditions. One of the earliest influences on my development of awareness has been the teachings of Carlos Castaneda, the Tolték tradition, Nahualism. Well, today I have a guest who's from a similar tradition, Sergio Magana.
Hello, Alan. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, I didn't mean to totally associate you with Castaneda because you are similar, but people know about Toltékism and Nahualism because of those 10, 11 books that he wrote about it.
The book that I wrote, The Dawn of the Sixth Sun, and an Italian magazine put like the new Castaneda, and they use it in the book.
The new Castaneda.
Yeah, but that wasn't my idea, but
I think what you're really here to talk about is the techniques of dreaming, of breathing, and how that's accessible to us as human beings, right?
Of course. Nahual comes from, the word really comes from a Nahuatl. Nahuatl is a language.
Nahuatl is a language. An ancient language.
Yeah, without the T is Nahual, that is known because of Castaneda, and with a T, before the L, it's Nahuatl, the language. Yeah.
Nahuatlism.
That's a very old language that was spoken by the Olmecs, then the Teotihuacans, then the Xochicalcas, then the Toltecs, and for the Mexicas or Aztecs. So it's like...
And the Aztecs.
They
all spoke that language.
So it's like 5,000 years of lineage. And Nahual is a word that is in Nahuatl, that comes from Negua. Negua means I, who I am really.
The soul, the spirit.
Sort of, but for us, for example, there are energetic bodies. Tonal. Tonal comes from Tonatiuh, that is the sun. So it's
wait, tonal comes from what?
Tonatiuh is a word, a Nahuatl word that means the sun.
The sun.
Yeah, the sun.
Tonal. So tonal means sun, basically.
No, tonal means who you are awake, because in the sun kingdom.
When you're awake in daylight.
In daylight.
Oh, so tonal is when you're awake in the sun.
Yeah.
During the day.
So, for example, now we are doing this interview, like you are in your tonal, Alan, and I am in my tonal.
Even though it looks
Sergio.
like night out there, right?
Okay, yeah. But of course, in night, if we are sleeping, we would be in the Nahual, and if we are awake, we would be in the tonal. For us, these are energetic bodies. For example, your tonal is surrounding your head when you are awake, and your Nahual is surrounding your navel.
When you're awake.
Yeah, when you're awake. But in the moment that you fall asleep, the tonal for us pushes the Nahual up, and the Nahual comes here. That's why you enter in complete different reality, and the tonal stays here.
At your waist, at your navel.
Yeah, at your navel, in this area. When you are fall asleep, they exchange positions. So to become a Nahual or a lucid dreamer would be that instead of making this change, just like this, you are able to join them and to become one. That's
the Nahual and the tonal integrate as one?
Integrate as one.
How do you do that?
It's a huge training. For example, you must change your perception.
Tell me, how do you do that? Because I am very interested in changing perception.
For example, in the tonal, if you see, our perception always goes out. I am not seeing myself now.
Because you're seeing out there.
I am seeing you.
Out. Yes.
I am seeing you.
Yes.
And I'm seeing the camera and all those things.
Yes.
So I cannot see myself.
Right.
So that's a huge problem, a huge task for the perception of the Nahual, because when you fall asleep, the tonal falls asleep, then the Nahual begins watching the dream, and then that's why you almost never appear in your dreams, because one is sleeping, the other is watching. So to force your Nahual to appear in the dreams and the tonal to see the dream, that would be like lucid dreaming, we start the training not dreaming. We start that in the mirror.
You start the practice of looking in the obsidian
forcing
mirror.
yourself obsidian mirror or in a common mirror, because this is not the training of the obsidian mirror.
So this is to train to
see yourself
in your dream.
Yeah, but first you must train your perception to see yourself. That's why you are in front of a mirror with masks that we call shayaka. Shayaka in Nahuatl is masks. So you are. It's a very deep training because you are telling your history with a mask in front of the mirror for hours and hours, a lot of days.
Are you recapitulating your history?
Something. It's a kind of. It's named Quetzaltzin in Nahuatl. That means the great birth. So you are like telling your history, but it has like a great purpose because your ego falls down. Because if you see your history with other face, that is like a mask, you don't have like any identification between your face and between the one that lived that. And that's when you are able to dream yourself in different shapes and forms. If you always dream yourself like you will keep repeating the same history.
So let me see if I get what you're saying. So part of the practice of this lucid type nahual dreaming is
it starts awake in the mirror.
It starts awake. You look at yourself in a mirror with a mask on, and you tell your story as if this new face was your face, and then you start to identify your form.
With different forms.
You start to identify with different forms. So when you show up in the dream,
you can change
you can change your form.
You can change your form.
And why is that important?
Because there are archetypes. For example, if you appear in the dream like a serpent, if you need a healing, and a lot of people that was sick in the moment that they appear like a serpent, they get healed. For example, if you need money, you have for the tradition the nahual of the crocodile, that is Zipactli in Nahuatl, is the one that gives money.
So if you appear as a crocodile,
so with red eyes. And
red eyes.
Yeah, that comes because, for example, we do the obsidian mirror training first also. So in an obsidian mirror, you must be able to, through breathings, alter your state of consciousness to be able to disappear your face, that because we are really nothing, and then change the reflection, and it changes to a red eyes and then the shape that you want. And that's the base of the chacmoles, that are Mayans, or the Tezcatzoncatl, that are the ones that are like in the top of the pyramid, like this, in their abs, and they are turning this way and this way. You were breathing, destroying the something, and then the dreams that created that, and then you turn into the mirror or into the water and change your reflection, and that would be the way to go to the dreaming state. That was the most advanced technique of the ancient Mexico.
Oh wait, so they would use obsidian mirrors, which is a black stone,
polished
black stone, and the chacmoles. I mean, the statues of the chacmoles would have this.
It's like a yoga posture, because then it was so defamated because the Spanish said that there were the hearts of the sacrifice, but it's not true. It is a complete posture for entering in the dreams. So for us that know how to do it,
so you take on the position of the chacmole?
Yeah, before dreaming.
With the mirror on your lap?
Or the Mayans did it with water. And for us in the Nahuatl tradition, we did it with the mirror.
With the obsidian mirror.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's because in the water you reflect.
I see.
But it's more difficult. I honor the Mayans because.
So you've done this.
Yeah, of course. I have been practicing this for years and years, but it's more difficult in water.
And you teach this, the path of the obsidian mirror.
Yeah, and the chacmole and dreaming. Yeah. That's what I have dedicated my life to teach.
You have?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of it all?
For us, the dream creates this reality.
The dream
the nahual
this
creates
reality.
the tonal. So this would be the dream of the dream. So
when you dream your dream, so if this is all a dream, and then
this is the dream of the dream. So if you want to change this, you must change through dreaming. In the awake, for us, it has everything, because like I told you before, and not in the interview, but before, Tolték really means comes from Toli. Toli is a Nahuatl word that means the tule. The tule is it's a tree where it was like get like a rover that moves, but in a metaphorical sense, it means the measure that is moving.
Like a pattern, like a moving pattern.
A pattern that is in the cosmos.
A pattern in the sky. The cosmos means pattern, actually.
Yeah.
So So toli means
The
measure,
the ones
pattern.
that had the measure
So the Toltecs were the ones that understood the sacred
numbers.
numbers.
And for example, for us, the number of the sun, of the awake, the tonal, would be the 13, and it's based in the rotation of the sun, because the sun equator rotates in 26 days. So if you cut it because every 13 days he gives you a new phase, so that's what we call the solar wave.
Wait, the sun rotation is 26 days?
26 days.
What do you mean the sun rotation?
One rotation of the sun, like the one of the
the
Earth.
sun itself rotates.
Itself rotation,
Oh.
it happens in 26 of our days.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So,
I see.
so the sun gives you a different shape every 13 days.
Why was this rotation the sun important to the Toltec?
Because for us we are solar consciousness, so we respond, and the rotation of the poles is in 20 days of the sun poles. If you see, the poles are smaller, and then the equator is much.
It's a little spread out.
Yeah. So it lasts 20 days in giving a complete round in the poles, and 26 in the center. So that's why for us, if you cut that in two, that would be like the two faces of the sun. It will give you two sacred of our numbers, 10 and 13.
How they even know that the sun rotated 26 days?
That's
but science has proved that.
Yeah, of course now. But that's the question of the $1 million. Because always a lot of people ask me, I don't know. It's a lot of mathematics.
But they could see these energies really. And the mathematics.
And the oral tradition, of course, talks about cataclysms and past.
Cataclysms.
Yeah, and past humankind. So probably the wisdom comes much for.
Tell me, how old is this tradition?
The oral tradition starts 5 suns ago, and 5 suns are periods of 6,625 years. So if we put 5, it's like 30-something thousand years. That's where it starts.
This is your tradition, the tradition you come from.
Yeah. And Mexico even it's named the place of the navel of the moon, and it has a.
That's what Mexico means.
It means, yeah. It comes from Nahuatl, Metzli, Xictlico. All the country, almost any Mexican knows, is named after the discipline of the Chacmol or the Tezcatzoncatl. Because for us, the moon is the black Tezcatlipoca, and the black Tezcatlipoca is the smoking mirror. So if you put the mirror here, it would be the navel of the moon. And all the countries named because it was a country of dreamers, but almost all that information is lost. So the place of the navel of the moon would be this discipline. Dreaming.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. So the dream, though, from what you're saying, was such a big part of the ancient Mexican culture.
Yeah, all the countries is named after that, but the people don't know it. Mexico is the place of the navel of the moon, a land of dreamers.
The land of dreamers. Incredible. Wow.
Of course.
Because we are dreaming this, right?
This is, for us, the dream of the dream.
This reality
is the dream of the dream.
And when we're dreaming...
That's the medium. Dreaming would be, for example, for us, the reality comes from the Centeotl, means the one energy, the beginning, like our equivalent for God, and for us is in the 13th heaven. We have, for the tradition, 13 heavens that are like 13 steps for coming from there to here. And the dreaming is in the 7. So, we are in after the 13, like in the 14th step.
We're right now in this reality, we're at the lowest.
It will be like the 14th step. So, if you see, it's perfect mathematics. The dream is just in the middle. Yeah.
So, where do the Mayans fit in as far as this whole calendar thing? Is it just
the Mayans? The Mayans were a little bit later of the Olmecs. The Nahuatl lineage comes from the Olmecs, and they were developing themselves. But then they joined in the last period with the Toltecs. For example, in Chichen Itza, it was a complete mix of Mayans and Toltecs. So what we got from the Aztecs and from the later Mayans, that is the calendars that we got now, are of the fusion of Mayans with Toltecs that happened in the late period of the Mayans.
Okay. So you study with Tell me about your teachers.
My teachers. Okay, I'm originally Catholic.
You're originally Catholic.
Well, I was never, but my family.
Your family's Catholic.
My family's
and
Catholic.
Then you knew that's what couldn't be the whole truth.
No, the problem, not the problem. The advantage is that my mother worked, so I was really raised by my nanny that worked there. And she was the daughter of the main Otomi healer of a community, indigenous community. So I was like the son that she didn't have, she couldn't have. So she really raised me. So I didn't live like a normal life when I was very, very little, because instead of giving me medicines, she was using like the tobacco, smoking, and then blowing out the pain and all those things. Then I saw like the eggs cleansing. The first time that I heard about dreams was from her, because she told me when she was passing the egg that this is so that your bad dreams don't get truth in your reality, because dreams create this reality.
So they roll the egg over your body?
Yeah, not the but in the energy.
But they use an actual egg.
Yeah, an actual egg, and then they broke it in a glass of water, and then they began like reading.
The
egg yolk and the egg white.
And she could tell you.
I learned that.
You learned that practice too.
Yeah, I love that.
You do? I'd like to learn that too.
I love those things.
Oh, could you teach that too?
I have never taught the egg.
I'd love to see that.
But it's amazing. So it's like that, and then you put it in water, and then you begin seeing like the forms, the shapes, the letters, and
letters actually.
So yeah, sometimes they tell you.
You could tell someone's future or
or past or something like that.
So you started training in that when you were really young.
I never know that it was like kind of training. I was just exposed.
Okay.
But it was really a training, because then I was learning all these kind of things. And then I began like being fascinating for that kind of wisdom. But I never thought that I was going to do this in life.
Right. But you know, it's interesting, these two traditions you were exposed to. The Christian, the Catholic, where you're there to just listen to what someone tell you what to do, and the native tradition, is where you actually are actively involved. And so did you see those two polarities between the two?
Of course, and it was like my mother and my nanny. My mother was so strict and so rigid, representing the Catholic part. I'm not saying anything against, but it was like that. And my nanny was like so lovely, so
loving, so in
loving,
touch.
yeah, so in touch. So they were completely represent those two paths in which I grew.
And so you had a choice to go, in a sense, at some point.
Of
you
course.
wanted to go to the path where you're told what to do, or the path where you can actually participate in the universe.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. No, it was like that.
So you...
And I chose the other one. I wanted
Your mother didn't like that, did she?
At the beginning, no. Now she respected it a lot, but they wanted me to study economy or something like that, and to be in the stock market and all those things, and I said not.
But tell me then, so you had this teacher who was your nanny, and then tell me of this, how you evolved.
I began like looking for teachers in Mexico. So in the main plaza of Mexico City, the Zócalo, where the pyramids were, that they destroyed, and now they put the cathedral and all the things. The Aztec major temple.
Oh, the Aztec had a temple there, and they destroyed that and built the
cathedral,
the big cathedral in Mexico.
But there are certain pyramids that survived that were like down. But so there are a lot of groups that are dancers. That if you see, they are drumming and with feathers and all those things.
Sacred dances.
Yeah. And I have to learn, because I try to get involved in those groups and all those things. And the groups that are in the day, dancing in the day, they are only for tourists. I didn't know that in the beginning. They are asking for money and all those things. They are not real keepers. But if you find the groups that are dancing at night, they don't want money and all those things. There are keepers of traditions there. So I try to be involved and all those things. And then I began also in doing energy and work and all those things. But in the first things that you get involved, it's like in sweating lodges, the dance, the ceremonies, a little bit of nahual, all these things. But after some time, I found like my main teachers.
And who are they?
One is named Hugo Nahui,
Nahui.
Ugo Nahui means four in Nahuatl, but four is like for us is the main pattern in the universe that repeats the four phases of the moon for moments of the day, main moments of the day, two solstices, two equinoxes to complete the
So four
cycle.
is a special number for this.
Yeah.
For the nahual.
Yeah, that's why Ugo put himself Ugo Nahui, like Ugo 4.
And what did he teach you?
A lot of things, because
Like
he's very kind of sophisticated mind. But the main things that he began teaching me was how the moon affected ourselves. That was like the ancient Mexican astrology, and then dreaming. He was my first teacher about dreaming.
Your first teacher about dreaming. Let's go through your teachers and let's get back to the dreaming, because I think that's what I'm interested in. Is like working in the dream state. So you found this one teacher, and who were your other teachers?
And then he introduced me to who I consider my main teacher, that is named Xolotl.
Xolotl?
Xolotl belonged to a lineage of dreamers. That is, he is also in the other path, dream, dancing, and sweating lodges and all those things. But he belonged to a lineage that is named Tol.
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 Part of the Tolték.
Yeah, but it comes. It's even before history. Tol is a measure. That it has been a lineage that has been passed from 1,465 years from master to student.
And you're part of that student.
Yeah, I am his student.
But he has more than you.
He teaches in my school also in Mexico.
There's many apprentices besides you.
I
think
the
main one?
Not the main, but I think I am the only one that he has. For example, a group of dancers every Saturday, so he teaches a little bit of the tradition. But I am the one that he teaches one-to-one.
I see. He teaches you one-to-one.
Yeah.
Teacher, you had another teacher though?
Then I had other one. I have had many, but for example, Xolotl's wife, she taught me some things. Alma.
And what did she teach you?
She teach the healing through the water, and how to put the energy of the sun in the water and begin reading the water and all those things.
Really?
Like the chakmol and all those things. The healing with obsidian. Then I had other one that passed away about the mirror. And then I have other Xochicuautli that she showed me the relationship between the Pleiades and the dreaming, and how to open centers in the back. Because if you want to be a lucid dreamer, for example, there are energetic centers that see the front that are for the tonal. But if you want, you must open the centers of the nahual that are in the back. So she taught me that.
How do you do that? I know it's all
there
practice.
There is like an initiation that you call the energy of the Pleiades to a mountain, then the earth. And then it passes to the hand, and you begin opening that we call the caves of power, that are 20 that are in the back.
And you've done this?
Yeah.
And did that change your dreaming when that happened?
Yeah, I began being much more aware, and I will be able to shape-shift much more.
Shape-shift? What does that mean?
No, in the dream, not in the...
Not in life, reality, in this dream.
Yeah, not in this dream.
So you open the caves of the back? Or what?
So, but she began like she was part of the feminine teachings. So I have like mixed what Ugo told me with what Xolotl told me with what Xochicuautli told me, to make like a complete, at least for me, approach to the tradition.
You brought all these traditions together.
Yeah.
I mean, you took all these different parts that seem to be separate, and you're showing how they're sort of really part of one real ancient tradition about dreaming.
About dreaming in Mexico.
Incredible. This is great. This is such valuable information, and that it's amazing it still survived.
I don't know how, because it was so chased. So
it was chased. I mean, like
in
repressed.
You were killed when the Spanish were there. But then after that, the indigenous thing was so in Mexico seen like low, like. For example,
like low class.
Low class, and all. So for example, it's incredible what happened in the country, but nahual, it was like the wise guy of the ancient times, and now it's an insult. You can't shout someone in the
can't
street,
call someone a
nahual, and
Why?
it will be like an insult.
Why? What does it mean?
Like they are low,
Like a low class.
Low class. It's
Ah.
incredible. It's like if you go to the Tibet and you say someone lama, and it's an insult.
It's
sad.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
sad.
yeah.
500 years ago, that was so degenerated in what it wasn't. And it's just coming out in Mexico because a lot of people think, I was asking some Charlottles once, why was this not shared before?
Yes.
And he said, because no one was interested. No, it was not that it was a secret thing and all those things. In the past years, in the past century at least, no one was really interested in the indigenous wisdom.
It wasn't secret. They just no one wanted
to know it.
But now people want to know.
Yeah, but it was there also the prophecy of the last ruler, Cuauhtémoc of the Aztec Empire. He gave like a beautiful speech one day before the Tenochtitlan fell down. Yeah. To the Spanish, and he said, "Our sun has hidden in the darkness, but keep our treasure because it's going to come back with the sixth sun." And now it's the sixth sun. So now, and the Spanish thought that the treasure was gold, and they tortured him to get where the gold was.
But now is the sixth sun now because of the December 21st date?
It has to be something like
2012?
that. For us, the suns are periods of 6,625 years that are based in the Aztec calendar. If you see the outer ring, it's two serpents that represent the long count. The long count is 24,500 years. That is more or less the precession of the equinoxes. If you see the serpents down, they have like the head and like feathers, and they have like 7 balls in the feathers. And those are the Pleiades. So for the tradition, the sun is giving a spin around the Pleiades that lasts 26,500 years.
That's interesting.
And like I told you, the main number for us was the 4. So we split the long count in 4. And that's in the calendar. If you can see the calendar, you can see the outer snakes with the face of a human, that is Quetzalcoatl, the rising serpent, and with 7 balls. And then is a big ball that is the sun.
The sun. And the face in the middle with the tongue sticking out is who?
It's the 5th sun. That's in the middle. But I'm talking the ones that are in the outer. The face in the middle for us, everything was based in 4. That you need 4 movements to create something. Right. So, for example, 4 suns before, and the face and the sun would be the tonatiuh that has the tongue out, but it's like the tekpatl, the knife of justice through the world.